Hi there. So let's continue with advanced MIDI controllers, touchscreen and iPad, and how to use those in music production. And now we will dive into Studio One and see how to use these different devices when creating music in Studio One. So let's get going with Studio One. Alrighty, let's first look into Maschine. Maschine is a good controller. It's very versatile in the sense that you can use it as a pad controller to your digital audio workstation, but of course it comes also with a VST instrument that you can play from Maschine, and it is integrated as a VST into your digital audio workstation. So what I have done here is that I have basically created some drums and then bass and arp and chords that when I play those, they basically are then of course recorded or played in Studio One. And then if you play, you can of course mix everything here and work with your music within your digital audio workstation. You could do the mixing also of course in Maschine. So you have multiple ways of doing that. I usually do it so that I send the audio from Maschine to my digital audio workstation, and I work from there. So that's my practice, but you know, there are as many practices as there are us creating music. Anyway, this is a good controller to consider, like to be used in a music creation. Alrighty, let's look at the native iPad controller from Presonus for Studio One. And let's start with that one and look how it looks like and how can you use it with your Studio One. I have to say that this is actually extremely good integration as well with Studio One, and the functionality that you have in the iPad controller is actually great. I actually changed the project as well so I can show more features from that iPad controller that exists. So this is something that I have used a lot when I've been working with Studio One, and I feel that it's an extremely good sidekick. Of course, I have some familiarity with that because I've been using it, and first and foremost you have the kind of the generic view where you have the faders that you can basically then deal with the channel volume and things like that. But then you can also create your own shortcuts and buttons and you know, do things that you do macros from here. You can link all these buttons also to Studio One macros. But let's start from here. So here basically you can of course control, you know, the faders. But what I also like is that you can deal with the inserts. So if you go and open the insert, it will open the insert also in your main screen. So you can basically work with that one and you know, tweak the controller based on your needs. And then of course you can switch to another one. So it will bring that forward for you, and you can also close it. So that's neat. So you can extremely easily to get into your plugins and tweak them and select them from the iPad. And then of course you have your sends, that where you can work with your sends. You have your channels, your inputs and outputs. So all that is present here. One thing also is that when you have, like I have created this arranger view where I have this different chapters of this music, so I can go from here directly into the chapter and start playing from there.
One may say modesty
So
is a virtue,
so
yet this also
it's
is
extremely
godly.
easy to
Pride
jump from
undoubtedly
a
is
chapter
giddy
to
with
another,
anticipation over the impending
and then
One
you
may
know,
say modesty is a virtue.
listen and you know, maybe do even a loop over there. So for example, if I have that selected, I could basically then also set a loop to the selection, and it starts to play from there. So this is definitely a device and a controller that I think pays a look at. So again, this is something that you know, if you have these old family iPads, they are extremely good for this because it doesn't need a lot of resources. The only thing it is that it's connected to your Studio One. I use actually the cable myself, so it's with USB, and I'm not using the Wi-Fi connection in this respect. And so at least it is guaranteed that it has a connection to Studio One, and makes the usage of the control extremely fluent. So yeah, so that's regarding on the controller, and then let's move into another controller that I've been showing also that works with Studio One, of course, and that is the Metagrid IO. The Metagrid IO also comes with certain functionality, and it's of course similar, so you can do things with this one as well. So you can basically go and show the mixer, or show your plugins for the selected channel, or show your instrument if you have an instrument channel selected. So let's go to an instrument channel. All right, now let's put that. Let's close the mixer window, and then let's open this folder. Let's go like for here. So if I press this one, then it will bring my instrument that I have, the violins over there. Or if I need to look, you know, what kind of VSTs or plugins I have there, I can access them also from here. So this is similar, of course, but it doesn't have that native integration with Studio One, but it's extremely handy of creating different type of macros, and then basically also doing macros, keyboard shortcuts, and things like that. So this one is also extremely extensive, and like what I have done here is actually I have taken also the template so that I could recall, for example, a plugin into the channel that I have selected, or then I could also do that for the instruments, but that's something that I haven't finished yet. But I could basically recall an instrument and create an instrument channel using these macros. So it has also pretty extensive ways of dealing with Studio One, and integration is in a good level with this Metagrid IO also. So these are definitely the two my favorite iPad apps as a sidekick for Studio One use, Metagrid IO, and then of course the own iPad app from Presonus for Studio One. So definitely these both are kind of worth to check out. Okay, let's move forward. Alrighty, let's move on and look into Atom SQ, which is a native controller from Presonus for Studio One. And for that reason, of course, it is extremely well integrated into Studio One, and all the functions and things are well thought. You can also, of course, extend this with your own configuration and settings, and it comes with the full keyboard, so you can use it as a MIDI keyboard as well. Of course, it has the transport control and all that jazzy things, but then mostly also the great integration includes like that if I press from here, I can go and browse, you know, the instruments in the screen, and then when I find one that I would like to basically bring in, I say that load selected, and then it will bring me the instrument that I can then start to play, and it basically, you know, you can open close the instrument editor from here. The same thing you can do basically for effects. So if you would like to bring some effects here, you can go into the song mode, and then you need to actually navigate into the section where you can open the effect browser. You can go into a section on it and then open up the folder if it's closed and things like that. You can, let's bring for example Pro Q into saying load selected, and now if I want to look into the channel editor, it will bring that for me. From here I can basically then of course access the instrument editor. Regarding on the channel editor, it actually went to my second screen, so I'll bring it here so you see that how it works. And then of course all the different controls. You have the editor mode, then you can play and manage the size of the tracks, or then you can zoom in, zoom out in your vertical or horizontal way. Then of course you can set the loop range, and then you can also move the whole loop range from place to another. So all kind of these type of things you can easily do. One additional thing what is great I think with Atom SQ is that if you bring in a native instrument, let's bring here, let's close this folder and we go to Presonus, and let's open Impact, and then let's bring some ready-made kit from here, like load selected. So now you can see that it also comes with the coloring. So you have all those tabs are here, and then that's pretty much it. So you can use this as a drum pad as well, so you can do your drum patterns. And so on and so forth. So definitely worth to look at if you are in Studio One. Gives you a great control over the Digital Audio Workstation, but also it has pretty okay touch to play instruments. So basically if you want to play and use this as a keyboard, it has touch sensitive pads, so it can also react into the pressure and if you press it mildly or strongly, so all that stuff. Anyway, that's one additional controller to be added if using Studio One. This has some integration with Ableton Live as well, but I haven't wanted to use it too much because I have Push 2, so it has a lot better integration, but then also if you wouldn't have a Push 2, this could be used with the Ableton Live as well. Alrighty, let's pause the video over here and continue next Thursday. Remember to subscribe for the channel, and see you next Thursday. Thanks for watching. Bye now.